Okay, so throwing the javelin, how much of a different motion is it than, say, throwing a baseball or throwing a football?
With the javelin, you're trying to bring your. I can't speak for baseball pitchers all that much, but it looks like their arm angles are all over the place, depending on what they're trying to do with a pitch.
Right.
The javelin, you want it to come straight over the top. It's more like an overhand, just straight over top fastball kind of a pitch for, so you don't want any kind of sidearm action or you tear your elbow up.
I was going to say, it's pretty well known that that is not a natural motion to throw from over the top. That's why, you see very few arm injuries in softball, because that is a natural motion. In throwing, how easy is it to have a shoulder or an elbow injury in the sport of javelin?
It's pretty easy. I mean, every year at the end of the year when we're doing declarations for the national meet, there's quite a few guys in the javelin that scratch out of it due to injuries. So Tommy John surgery is part of javelin throwing. Even we've got some guys who've had some injuries this year that aren't back yet. So it's something we have to deal with.
And I'm sure it's just like any other ulnar collateral ligament surgery. It's right around a year before you're really coming back full strength, right?
Yeah, it's a 9 to 10, 12-month recovery. So, like I said, we've got a couple guys going through that right now, I'll be honest with you.
So the women finish second over the weekend at Indiana State, the Gibson Invitational. Tell us about some of the standout performances.
Oh yeah, our women had a great meet this weekend. Madison Goss kicked off the meet for us, set a meet record in javelin, won it, all-time PR for her this year. And then Caitlin Shea continued her great year, winning the 5K, and Rachel Hutchcraft was right behind her. The 800, Carly Knott, Claire Morrell had a great weekend, both up front, right after PRs, our PRs. So, like I said, it was all around just a great weekend for our women's team.
So you've got indoor and you've got outdoor. What are some of the big differences that you see when you're indoors versus outdoors, and how can it affect performances?
It's indoor and outdoor are two different animals.
Really?
It really just, you would think, well, it's track and field, and it is, but I've had teams before that for some reason can't get things going indoor and just struggle, and then you hit outdoor and everybody just starts clicking and it takes off. So there's no rhyme or reason to it sometimes. Some of it's just where they are in their training, whether they're dealing with injuries. Like our men's team indoor this year had a lot of injury issues. Nothing major, but just little injuries that kept things from taking off. And then it seems like since we've been outdoor, stuff is starting to take off better, and we're having a better outdoor season. So it just goes that way sometimes.
And I would say, especially if you're in a running event, any kind of a tweak is going to keep you out of that event, right? Hamstring or a groin, or my knee's barking at me, my ankle is barking.
Oh yeah, hamstrings are a big thing with sprinters especially. So and rightly so. They get kind of scared when their hamstrings are tight. It's hard for them to push through that sometimes, and sometimes it's better off they not push through it, because that's when they get hurt. So,
what are some of the tricks of the trade that you guys employ to try and minimize the chance that somebody is going to tweak a hamstring?
The big key to it is just making sure you're staying hydrated, going through a proper warm-up procedure.
Hydration is that top of the list?
No, that's big. That's important. Yeah. It seems like a lot of times when we have somebody pull something, you find out, well, they haven't drank any water all day and they've been out in the 80-degree heat all day. That's when it happens, it seems like. So, that's a big thing. And then just like I said, making sure they warm up properly, cool down properly. They put way more time into warming up and cooling down than they do actually racing.
So I have seen the urination color charts I've been in locker rooms, and they're right there at the urinals.
Yeah.
And it's got the color chart on it. It basically says, okay, you're hydrated. No, you're not. And then, like, on the very end of the spectrum, you are a selfish teammate. Or, if it's a certain color. Is that something you guys really pound home? Do you use the charts or no?
I don't know where
You've seen them though,
I've
right?
seen the charts. Yeah, we don't harp on the charts too much, but we are trying to make sure they're getting enough fluid in to keep them from getting hurt, help the performance.
Boy, I bet it's one of those situations where sometimes people just have to push through. Man, I'm sick and tired of drinking liquids, but hey, that's what you've got to do.
Yeah, especially when the weather's warming up. So, this past weekend wasn't all that hot, but it's the warmest day we've had yet this year. So you could tell some people were feeling it a little bit at the end of the meet.
So that's the thing. I mean, once it starts to get a little bit warmer, then you're starting to worry about cramping as well, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The track's kind of a strange sport. I mean, everybody's wanting different kind of weather. Distance runners want cool, dry weather. The sprinters want hot, humid weather. And, you get a little bit of everything in between. But the throwers would prefer probably 65 and sunny every day. But it's just each bench group wants a different kind of weather to perform at their best. But we're all out there in the same sun, same weather. So,
Eric Krumpecker, longtime track and field coach at Southeast Missouri State. Now, you were here 17 years coaching alongside Joey Haynes. And is this 10 or 11 for you this year?
I think it's 11.
Okay, number 11. So this is year number 28 at Southeast Missouri State. Man, does it seem like it's been that long?
No, it doesn't seem that long until you start saying 28 years, and then I start thinking back, and it's been a long time. So, time flies when you're having fun, though.
The Joey Haynes Invitational, couple of team titles at that, so a really nice performance, and in front of the home crowd.
We managed to come out there with 2 team titles last weekend. Unfortunately the weather was a mess. It rained sideways most of the day on us, so there was a lot of people drop out of stuff, pull out of the meet early and leave. But it was exciting to be at home even in those conditions, just to compete on a home track. So we're happy every year at that meet to be at home competing in front of our families and friends. So.
What have you seen over the years at Abe Stuber in terms of facility enhancements over the years? Because I mean, you've seen every enhancement for 28 years now.
Yeah, the facility looks is the best it's ever been. By far. We did a resurface a couple years ago, rearranged some of the field events, throwing event areas where they were situated. I mean, we've got a really good setup now for a meet, and just got a new windscreen decorative banner around one of the fences on the curve, so it's looking pretty sharp right now.
Now, when you have to deal with what you had to deal with last week at the Joey Haynes Invitational, when you do get bad weather, what are some of the things that all of a sudden are employed as far as safety things?
I mean, in track, we go out there and do our thing unless it's lightning. So that's the only time we shut down. So, I mean, we were out there doing all that in this downpour. Some of the stuff gets a little tricky, especially throwing events. Circles get slick. Just you really got to make sure you're warmed up good. And try to minimize the amount of time we're out there. We just get out there and try to warm up as much as we can indoor and then head outside in it. But it's just kind of a rough situation last weekend. None of the teams performed very well. So it was disappointing with the weather, but it's just the way it is sometimes outdoor.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, you have no control over that. I know the baseball team had to, 2 different days they couldn't play baseball. And, with the safety reasons, it's kind of interesting now. They've got all of these technical enhancements now. They've got apps that tell you when the lightning is, I don't know how many miles away, and there are NCAA regulations. I mean, even if you don't see any lightning, you have to have these apps employed at all times for safety reasons, where sometimes they will clear out a facility or they'll clear out an area and you don't even see any lightning, but because you're using the app, then it kind of tells you, hey, there are lightning strikes kind of in the area.
Yeah, we actually delayed the start of the meet last weekend because all the lightning detectors were showing that there was lightning on the way in. It never really got within the 10-mile radius, but just to be safe, we delayed it an hour till all that cleared out, and then we started the meets. So yeah, we deal with that all the time at meets. Been at regional meets before where we've started warm-ups for the hammer 3 times and had to go to the van 3 times because the lightning come back within the area, and then sit for 30 minutes, come back out and do it again. It's just something to the finals. But after 2 lightning delays, he went back out there and never really put together the same kind of throws. So it has an effect. It's hard to deal with.
So in your mind, that was a major contributing factor of why he probably didn't perform as well.
Yeah. Oh, I know it was, because he was locked in the first time he was out there warming up. The second time he didn't look quite as good, and then the third time didn't look good at all. So I know it was a big factor in his performance.
How about some of your assistant coaches, Coach? An opportunity for you to kind of talk about them and some of their specialties.
Well, the Ryan Lane is our distance cross country coach. He's been with us now, I guess, 10 years now. So he's been around with the program for quite a while. He competed here as an athlete back in the 2002 to 2005 years. So he's been around the program a long time. Does a nice job with our distance runners. Like I said, those girls this weekend in the 5K and 800 and our men's 800 runners all running good right now. So he does an awesome job with them. And then we got Danielle Burbage, who's been with the program now. This is her 4th year. She's our sprints coach. Like I said, she does a nice job with them. Came here from Louisville, so she's been around some good track and field over her years.
Well, they've got nice facilities over there, don't they?
Oh yeah, they've sunk some money into those facilities. What used to be a railroad yard, I think. So.
Yeah, and they've still got railroad cars out. I'm trying to think, over by their football facility. They've got them out there where you can like rent them out and things like that.
Yeah, they've done a lot with that whole stretch down that road right there. So it's they've got some top-notch facilities there. Then Chris Navarro, who was a decathlete for us a few years back, he's back with our program. This is his 3rd year now, 2.5 years. He actually came in the middle of the season a couple years ago, but he's our jumps multis coach, and he does a great job with them.
Outstanding coaching staff. And when you think about the throwing events, that's more your forte because that was kind of what you competed in? Is that fair?
Yeah, I've been coaching. I came straight from undergrad, started coaching the throws here, and been doing it for 28 years, so I wouldn't know what else to do. So.
I was going to say, so you're not coaching 100 meters then?
No, not coaching 100 meters, and not coaching the 10K, that's for sure. So, it's just all throwing events, and, I enjoy working with these guys. Throwers are a special bunch in my heart. They're a different breed.
Now, when you say different breed in other sports, like football, you start talking about kickers or punters, and when coaches refer to them as a different breed, it means something totally different than what they would talk about, like if they're talking about the offensive lineman, because a lot of people think kickers may have a different crazy mindset. Is that code for the throwers may be a little crazy?
Oh, they're a little crazy, but I think everybody in track and field is probably a little crazy. Every event group's got their own personality. Distance runners or I always say they're all kind of extreme type A personalities, and they know what they're going to do months in advance. They've got their whole lives planned out. The sprinters are kind of fly by the seat of their pants type people and kind of hyperactive, and then you got the throwers are usually pretty laid back, but they've got a little crazy streak in them usually too. So this track and field's got a little bit of everything. So
I would think with the long distance running, the psychological barriers that you've got to break through at times during a long run can kind of either make or break what kind of performance you're going to have. Psychologically, during the length of a run, there are times where are you going to be able to fight through this or not?
Oh yeah, especially those real long races, the 5K, 10K, it really becomes a psychological battle. 800's done before you got time to think about it.
Sure.
You run that, and about 600 meters into it, you get hit with some intense pain, but it's over with in another 200 meters. But you start hurting in a 10K at lap 15, you still got 10 more to go. So it is definitely a psychological battle, and some people take better the shorter races. I mean, we've had guys before who just they should have been good 5Kers, 10Kers, but just psychologically couldn't handle it, and they wind up being better milers because of it. So you never know.
When recruiting high school athletes, is it all about the statistics? Is it all about times? Is it all about distances? Or sometimes can you see, well, I see real potential here?
That is part of it, be able to recognize somebody who has potential too. So